Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Want Less Object. Today what we have here is a kind of a little treat. So a few months back I put a video on my channel and it excuse me, it had to do with the drops that you end up with when you're sawing up your processing your wood blanks and you're trying to make like quarter sawn blanks and platter blanks and bowl blanks and all that kind of stuff. You end up with some really oddly shaped leftovers of material. And, a lot of people would just throw that into the fire or get rid of it, or they'd chop it up and make, pin blanks out of it or whatever. Now, I'm going to show you in this video one good thing that you can do out of these oddly shaped blanks. Now, I'm going to spin this around. You guys can see this. You can see that there's a chainsaw mark here, chainsaw mark here. It was chainsawed here and chainsawed here. All the bark is on the back side of this. You know what? Let me take you off the tripod here, and I'll give you a look at it. Let's see. Okay. So this is a little better view of it. So this is a piece of maple, I believe, and once again, it's just a really oddly shaped drop that would otherwise get pitched into the burn pit or into the fireplace. So what we have here is it's about 7 inches tall here, and this came to a point. Here and here. Now I sawed it flat here so that I could get it up onto the machine. And basically, let me get a pencil here. Basically, my intention is I'm thinking that, if I just crudely draw something here, something like this, we can get a natural or live edge bowl blank out of this. Now it's not going to be real big, because once again it's only like 7 inches across here. So the maximum diameter bowl I'm going to be able to get out of it is going to be a 7-inch diameter bowl. But if I do it right, I can make it kind of a elongated bowl. So that's my intention today. Now, I've put it up here on the chuck. It's on the spur drive and on the live center, and I have split up the edges as best as I could, and got these four corners as square as I could across the spur drive, in an effort to make the top of this bowl, however that comes out, come out as even as possible. I'll make this bowl as deep as I can possibly get it, and I'll turn it to the sides. I'm going to try to elongate the sides, but keep all the bark on here. Now you can see right there, this bark right here is kind of lifted off. Now I'll hit that with some CA glue and fasten it down. But everywhere else across this piece, the bark looks really secure. So I'll give you a quick view of that. Yeah, the bark looks really secure across it. So that is what we're going for in this project. Now this will take me a couple days to get it done, but that is the intention. So if you guys are interested in seeing me do this, sit back and enjoy, because that's what we're fixing to do. I'm gonna put you back on the tripod and we'll get started. Okay, so I've got quite a bit of pressure. Let me plug this in. I've got quite a bit of pressure on my tailstock because I don't want it to slip out. This surface is flat, but it's at an angle like so. So I've got it poked in there. So I'm going to take it easy, and my intention here is we'll get the bottom of this flattened off, and we'll get this rounded up, and whatever shape I end up with, that's what we're going to go with. So that's what we're going to do. So give me a second. I'll put my safety gear on, and we'll get started. Okay, so before we get started, I just want to let you know that it'd be nice for me to take this out to my bandsaw and kind of clip these corners off. It would turn a lot easier that way, but because it's so oddly shaped that it would be difficult to put on the bandsaw and do that with. So I'm just going to take care of all that with the bowl gouge. Now, it's going to be kind of a difficult turning to start with because it's got such an interruption and it's a little out of balance. Like I said, I've centered it up and balanced it as good as I can. It's still a little heavy to that side. But we'll see what kind of speed we can get out of it. And I'm just going to start working this outside shape. So we'll go from there and see how we end up. Okay. It's actually running pretty good. That's about 600 RPMs, and there is a little bit of vibration to it. And I don't know if the camera will pick this up or not, but when I look at a piece like this, there's a shadow line that's in there where I can see the basic bowl shape of what I'll be able to turn out of that. But basically, these corners have got to come all the way off. Now, honestly, I don't have like a swan neck hollowing tool. If I did, I would try to make a hollow form out of this because I think it would look really cool. But anyway, the whole point behind this video is to show you that just because it looks like it should go in the fireplace doesn't mean that it always has to. It just depends on how much drive you got. If you want to turn it, that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to use my 5/8 bowl gouge, and we're going to start pecking away at it. Now I've got to be real careful because it's like a four-cornered piece. There's areas out there where I can't really see where the tool's going to engage on it. So, all right, here we go. Now when I'm doing something like this, because you can't really see where the actual stock is to where you're cutting, it's kind of difficult to see that. I may start a cut and then notice that cut is where it's going to start overloading the gouge, where the cut gets a little deep. So, when that happens, you just back the tool out a little bit and pick up a new cut, back the tool out, pick up a new cut, back the tool out, pick up a new cut. So it's going to be like that pretty much through this entire turning. But I've already knocked this corner off, so I can get my tool rest a lot closer. That looks like it'll work. I'm going to double check the tightness on my tailstock and see that loosened up already, so I'm going to put a little more pressure on it. That's another real important thing is you want to keep an eye on the amount of pressure that you have in your tailstock, because all that beating and vibrating and jarring around, this will loosen up. I will say that that's the first time I can ever remember stalling the lathe. Now, it didn't actually stall, it spun on the drive spur. So I need to tighten this up even more. The key thing is if something like that happens, you don't want to panic. You want to stop the machine, pull your tool out of there, and get reset. So the key here is light cuts with a slow feed rate until we get this smoothed out. And for me, I'm not looking here, I'm looking over here. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but you can see that cut got pretty deep, so I'm just going to back the tool out. And pick up a lighter cut. Also, this is some good information for you guys to know. Now, I'm standing way out of the way while I'm doing this because, you know, there's bark on the top of this and stuff may be flying off. Well, I don't know if you heard that clod, but this chunk of bark just flew off of this piece. So now, honestly, where that came off, I think we're still good. I think I can still get a ball out of this where all the bark will be connected, but maybe not. We're going to find out. This may end up a live edge bowl, it may end up a natural edge bowl. We'll find out. All right, let's see what we're looking at. Okay, I need to go a little bit deeper on the face, get this clean up all the way around, and then I'll know where my depth will be. I got a black mark right here. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but typically when you're turning wood, you know, I picked this wood up off the side of the road. Typically when you see marks like this, that usually means that there's a nail or a staple or a screw or something like that down in there. It'll stain the wood like that. And there'll be a lot of starting and stopping just so I can see where I'm at. So I think I'm just about deep enough here. I may go just a little bit deeper here just to get a little more area right here, because I will set this up to go on a glue block. And here's another little tidbit for everybody. So because of the way I started, now I've reduced. Let me take this off so I don't have to yell. So because of the way I started, you know, I got about, I don't know, just shy of 3/8 of an inch of a little nub out here that my center is pushing on right now. So need to really keep an eye on that to make sure that this doesn't break, because if this breaks while I'm turning all this interruption, this chunk of wood's going to go flying off of there, and that's not going to be good for anybody. And I can see that there's a broke out spot on this nub. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this chunk off of the lathe. I'm going to grind this nub off and get the center into a solid chunk of wood. So I'm going to pause this and I'll be right back when I'm set back up. Okay, I ground that nub off. And I also took a Forstner bit. Now that I had a mark, I took a Forstner bit and I gave myself a nice little secure spot for the drive center to ride, and I ground off the bottom. And I'm not going to be able to get it back up there perfectly, but I'll get it close enough. I'll get it close enough to where it originally was so that we can get right back to it. Now I can see a shadow mark from where that center used to be. Which is right about there. Oh, no, I'm wrong place. What I was thinking should be right around in here. So like I say, this face was cut flat, so I can use this as a guide and get it kind of back where it needs to be. Just eyeball that straight. That actually looks pretty good. Let me check this here. Oh yeah, we're plenty good enough right there. So now I'm just gonna load up the pressure on it again. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, so I got it back up on the lathe, and that's as close as I can get it back to its original location. So we're gonna retrue this face, and we'll start cutting these wings back. Okay, so I walked away for a few minutes and I forgot where I was with what I was saying, so let's just continue on turning. So that's one thing when you're turning something on a spur drive. In my experience, when you're making this arc, like the initial portion of the turn, I get a lot of vibration right there. It's not that there's anything loose with the machine. It's just there's no support back there. You're working on just a tiny little area. There's no surface contact, so you get a lot of vibration in that turn. All right, this side's completely round, but this side's still got that flat on it. So we gotta go, I gotta keep going until I get this flat is gone. So But I am going to start reducing this base and try to get a little bit of an OG going here and here. I got a little bit of tear out going on right here. That's all right, a little bit right here. I'll start working towards cutting that off. Okay, I'm going to take a break right here. I got just a little bit more to go to get this down to round. And I've got a spot over here where the bark has come loose. So I'm going to fill this with CA glue. And then I'm going to take a break and let that set up overnight. And we'll get back after it tomorrow. I got a little tool here I'm going to use to spread that bark a little bit. I'm going to try not to break it off of there. And I'm using, well, I was going to use, it's a medium thick. Okay, so I'm going to spread this open a little bit. And I'm going to put some medium CA in there. And then I'm just going to push it in place. And we'll give it a shot of this accelerator. Okay, so welcome back. It is the next day. Let's see where we left off. You guys just saw me, which was last night. You guys just saw me get this rough down to this shape. I went through and fixed the spot on here where the bark was beginning to separate. I used some medium thick CA glue on that. And then there were some cracks that had developed in here. I probably should have put some sanding sealer on it before I used that CA, but I'm kind of thinking that I have to turn down enough to get rid of these stains. So hopefully it works out the way I'm thinking. I've got a little flat area right here that I still need to get rid of. So as soon as I get this diameter completely round, that's where we're going to stop. So each cut I make from this point on is going to be kind of a roughing / finishing cut. I don't want to go any smaller than what we have, so that is the plan. Okay, here we go. Still running nice and true. There's a little bit of vibration there, just a slight little bit, just over 900. So I'm going to run it right around 900 RPMs. Not that that matters. Just for anybody who's curious. I got to change the angle of my tool wrist real quick. So I've got a little support there. Now, I'm a little different from other turners where, you know, the closer you get the tool rest to the work, the more support that you have. But I like to have a little bit of a gap here because the way that I grind my tool, for me, it just seems to work better if I leave a little gap here. Check our tightness. Yep, we're good. Well, that tool is dull. Let me sharpen this tool real quick. Okay, everybody, we got this piece on the glue block, got it flipped around, ready to go, and I'm going to drill a cheater hole in here to make it a little easier for me to hollow this one out, because it's going to be a little deep and it's small, so it's going to be kind of hard for me to get in there with the tools that I have. So that's what we're going to do. My pilot's going to be about 4 inches deep, which right here at the shoulder, that's where I'm going to stop. So I'm going to take it easy, take my time, and see what we can do with this. It's not running as true as I would have liked it to have been. Let's see, that's about 350 RPMs. Let's see how that works out. Now, I've already got a little bit of a pilot hole in there, so I'm going to go nice and easy until I get full engagement on that Foster bit. This chunk of wood is relatively dry. Okay, I got that OD all cleaned up. The tear out that's left, I'm going to have to get with the sanding paper, but it is absolute bare minimum. I just about got it, tear out free. I fixed a spot of bark right here that was loose, so I CA glued that down, so I got a little bit of time. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take a parting tool and I'm going to go into this surface nice and gentle, nice and slow, right about where I want the finish to be, so that when I'm turning this out of the center here, I don't tear this bark off of here. So that's the objective with this. But so, while this is spinning, I'm not going to be able to see where everything is. So I'm going to put a mark on my tool rest. So I'm just going to line this up roughly where I want that to finish. Just going to kind of eyeball it around here. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to put a line on my tool rest with this magic marker. There. I don't know if you guys can see that mark on there or not, but once I fire this spindle up, I'm not going to be able to see that anymore. So I'm going to use that line as a guide, and all I want to do is take that parting tool and plunge into this surface below the bark. Once I get that, I'll have a nice starting place and I won't have to worry about my bowl gouge tearing that bark out of there. So that is the objective of what I've just done. So we're going to let this CA glue dry a little bit. And once that's nice and dry, 5-10 minutes, I'll come back and we'll start working on the inside of this. Ooh, now that I got my hand up here, I can feel a little spot right here that I need to rework with the gouge. Not a big deal. I could probably get it out of there with the sandpaper, but I would prefer to turn it away rather than sand it away. All right, let's give this a try and see how it works out for us. All right, that should have done exactly what I wanted it to do. Basically what I was after was to establish the rim of the bowl. I want to be able to look at it and make sure that everything is going to be the way I want it to be, and that looks pretty good to me. Yeah. Okay, you guys should be able to see that pretty good. So this is the wall thickness that I'm going to maintain all the way through the bowl. So we'll start boring this out. So give me a second. I'll bring it right back when I'm ready to do that. Okay, I'm just going to start pecking away at this. So, by the time I get down to the bottom of this, my tool's going to be hanging over like excessively bad. So I'm going to do everything I can to get a nice finish on the inside of here, but we'll see what happens. This is actually like the deepest, biggest hollow type vessel that I've made so far. So let's see how all this works out for us. Now I am going to have to move the camera because you guys are in the way now. So let's see. What if I stick it? If I stick it real close, you guys can't see. You're not going to be able to see a whole lot of the hollowing process, but I will try to film everything, give you guys the best shot I can. Once I get another camera, I'll be able to set up another camera and be able to get a couple different shots and angles of it. So I'll do what I can to keep from getting my elbow in front of everything, but I think that'll be about where I have to reach to, so we'll see what happens. So I'm going to do what I can with my bowl gouge, and then eventually I'll end up with my carbide round nose tool finishing this job. So let's see how this works out. let's continue on. All right, well, apparently in there somewhere I took a little break, and when I came back, I never hit the record button back on. You guys didn't miss much. It is finished. That glare is pretty bad. I'm just trying to get some light in there. I've got it bored out, and I got the OD done. So as I'm looking around the OD, I can see a couple spots where it looks like the bark is trying to lift off now. You know, now that it's been beat up a little bit with the gouge. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to hit these spots with some CA glue, and I'm going to glue this bark back on here, and then I'm going to take a break for the night and get back after it tomorrow. I'm just going to let it set up overnight. So there's a spot right here in the bore too that I'd like to hit. So that's what I'm going to do. So we'll pick back up. Well, actually, the next step I have after the CA glue finished or cures is I'm going to start sanding it. So the next time I bring you guys back, I will be ready to put a coat of finish on this bowl, vase, hollow form, whatever we're going to call it. I'll be able to put a finish on it. So that's what we'll do. All right, let's get the first coat of finish on this part. Once again, I'm using the Waterlux VOC medium sheen. View possibly of the inside of it. There you go. Got it off the headstock, and that's what the inside of it looks like so far. There's a better view of the outside diameter of it. It's going to take 2 more coats of finish. I'll bring you back for each one, and then we'll get it parted off, signed, and out the door. Okay, everybody, time for the second coat of finish on this live edge bowl, vase, hollow form that we've made. I've already buffed it and I've already cleaned it with the denatured alcohol. So here we go. All right, let's get the third coat of finish on this. And once I get this on here, The next time I bring you back, we'll be parting this off the glue block and getting the foot finished. Okay, see you then. Okay, everybody, we're ready to take this one off the glue block and get the foot finished. So that's what we're fixing to do. So I'm going to try to give you this view. I'll do everything I can to stay out of your way, but you know, inevitably I'm going to have to get in here and I'm going to be reaching around the camera. So let me move it just a little bit more. I think I can do what I need to do right there. Might not be the greatest view, but we're going to try it. All right, here we go. I'm only going to run at about 600 RPMs. There we go. That's all that was holding it on there, was the glue that was left in the middle. All right, I'm going to pause you and get you moved, and we'll get that finished up. All right, got it flipped around on the block again, and we're ready to finish up the foot of this bowl. So let's get to it. All right, that, excuse me, that looks like it'll do it. And I'm not gonna cut this nub down any thinner. Looks like it's got a couple weak spots in it, so I'm just gonna grind that off. So I'll bring you guys back when I've got the bottom of this side and I'm putting that last coat of finish on it. Okay, everybody, that is the end of it. Foot's done. There's only one coat of finish on there, but you know, it's just going to darken up and get a little shinier. So I'll give you a best look at the outside diameter of it as I can while I'm holding it. And this is what the inside looks like. Kind of hard to see it. And I finished this as is on the rim, so you know there's spots where the bark stayed on all the way around, and then there's spots where it got real thin. So I think it looks cool that way. So that is it. All right, everybody, thanks for watching.